Thanks very much for the invitation. And as you heard before from our title, we like to take you on a journey today. And that journey was a journey for both of us. So maybe just a little bit about who we are and why we are together on this stage. So I am Beate Graziola. I work as Senior Process Manager for Boehringer Ingelheim. And I met Eva a long time ago in a very well-known city named Wolfsburg. Do you remember that time?
I do remember that time, Beate. It's already 18 years ago.
So quite a while. Quite a while.
Well, for now, as you can see there on the slide, I'm working for EY, Ernst & Young. You probably know them as an auditing company for our auditing services, but actually we also have quite a large consulting branch. Myself, I'm working in people consulting, especially in digital HR, which, as the name says, is doing everything about digitalization in HR. Surprise. I'm specialized in SuccessFactors there, and that's where I met Beate. So I have a very long history in consulting. So as I said, it's 18 years now. First I started with SAP, HCM, then for 10 years now I'm doing SuccessFactors. Currently I'm focusing on managing complex projects and on the strategy topics. And on the personal side, I'm mom of 2 wonderful daughters. And yes, as I just said, 18 years consultancy experience, and that's exactly as long as I know you, Beate, because when I started my first job after I did my master's degree in England a long time ago, you were not only my project lead, my project manager, but you were also my mentor. You introduced me to the world of projects, to the world of SAP, HCM, and to careers. So, what did you do in the time?
Yeah, 18 years, right? And you said I introduced you to the world, and I introduced myself as well to the world. So we both started at a quite small consulting company. I started with the employee number that was 1 digit at that time. And then after that project, I was interested in, getting the world to know better, and then I decided to move to a larger company, maybe as well very well known, to Accenture. And for years I took projects with huge HR transformations in Italy, Singapore, and for sure the most challenging part, I lived 3 years in India, while as well having my daughter, and with the great support of my parents, I flew back every second week between Germany and India. And happy to answer some questions about that lifestyle as well in our Q&A sessions later. But what we really would like to give to you today is something that we experienced together. So we started with that project to implement SuccessFactors Recruiting. And as we said, it was a huge global one. And it came by surprise that after we sent out the request for a proposal, Eva basically
appeared.
You appeared, right. And she was part of the team, so we had the chance to work together. And what did we do during that journey that we had? You may know that Boehringer Ingelheim is a global company, same like Ernst & Young, and we decided to partner up. And then we implemented the last piece of the SuccessFactors suite together with all the companies in one huge big bang. And you may imagine that's quite a task, because if you bring so many countries together, specifically within HR, it means you need to bring so many holistic views, processes, and as well legal requirement. And this is where our project started. And as well, you may already imagine what did we focus on. So our main goal, obviously, was operational excellence, which means you try to streamline processes. But we all know that it is really hard to get the right candidate, and that the whole talent management part, the competition is getting more fierce. So we said we are focusing from A to Z on the customer centricity, which obviously means in our case candidate experience. And we managed that the candidates only need 3 minutes from the moment they click the apply button until the moment they send up all their documents. And what sounds so easy is quite a challenge. If you imagine we had one cloud system already in place, and then I think this is still rare, right, that we implemented a second cloud system now. We retired the old one. And now you try to get the whole world together and agree how many fields would we like to ask the candidate to fill out. Is it 1 address line that you need? Is it 3 address lines that you need? Are you interested in more personal information? Is a legal requirement not even to ask the first name? And bringing all of that together needed a really strong collaboration. And this is where you came in place with your team, right? The global experience that we had from other projects, and as well the huge pressure that we faced. And maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's true. So, as you probably cannot see on the screen, we started the project in March 2022. Only 3 months before I joined EY, so that was really getting lucky, because after we both left the company where we met, we journeyed together and supported and had sometimes more, sometimes less contact, but this really was so lucky. Sometimes you are just lucky, and we really enjoyed it. And then as I joined the company and found that EY won this project, it was crystal clear that it is my project. So I was very happy to take the project management, although this is really challenging circumstances. As you can see, it's on the timeline, it's only 15 months for a project of this size. It's about 60 countries, several languages. We had a huge project team. And one of the most important pressure points was the fixed timeline. So as it was a cloud system before, this was already planned to be decommissioned, and therefore our go-live date was not to be postponed. There was no chance to change the timeline as you usually have in other projects. Due to that fact, we had to go live with a big bang, and again, about 60 countries. That's a challenge. And all that in the midst of the corona pandemic. And in these 60 countries, we also had 2 very complex countries, which are Russia and China. And you might know they have really strict and specific data privacy regulations, which we had to take into consideration. All this under the impression of the corona pandemic, which was still heavily ongoing in March 2022. We had to start this huge, impactful international project completely remotely without face-to-face meetings. Yeah, and we had to set the project up and get the project running. That was a challenge.
Yeah, and maybe...
How did we do it?
Exactly. This is... we thought about what would we tell you tonight. What is the message we want to send, and what made us so special as a team, and what made this whole project so special?
The whole team special.
The whole team, right? Yeah, that's for sure. And that big sentence on that slide, I think, is the most important one for success. We got personal. When we started with that first session in kickoff sessions, don't know if you ever had the chance to participate in IT implementations. Normally, they're based on timelines, numbers, what do you do, when do you do it. And I think we all love to start with an organizational chart, where everyone for the first 5 minutes in that project tries to find their own name in a tiny box. And what I really liked when I started with Eva, we knew that we had a low chance ever meeting in person. It was still Corona. We still had travel bans. Better saying, it was still the COVID-19 phase, right? So we thought about a better way to connect. And our first kickoff call started with introducing ourselves. And surprisingly, that got very, very emotional. So something as an icebreaker that you normally do, it evolved into something that was really challenging on a personal level. We had colleagues, teammates, later friends in this call, and we asked everyone the usual personal questions, and this is actually a screenshot of that session. And one of the questions was, what is your most favorite dessert? What do you crave for when it comes to sweets? And at that moment in time, we still had the situation that food was not available on the whole globe easily. And then colleagues and teammates spoke up, and we shared experiences. And then you have that moment where someone says, I didn't have the dessert in a really, really long time. It's a very challenging time for us. It's very challenging to support the family and to work. And this is how we started. So from the first moment on, we cared about each other. Yeah, so we sometimes could only listen. Sometimes we made small presents to each other. We celebrated. And that was such a different start than you normally have in a project, where you can already sit together, where everyone is in a situation that we are sort of used to. But this was so disruptive that you just could not prepare for that in any way before. Yeah, so we got personal.
We got personal because every project, and especially a HR project, it's not about figures. It's about humans. It's about persons. And that's what we did right from the start in this, well, huge project. What did we do? Well, we have one team, one focus, one truth. So right from the beginning, we started to get personal, and we had a focus on equality and total transparency. So anyone on the project was treated the same way. Anyone did get the same appreciation, no matter where in the project hierarchy or where in the globe the people were located. We were sharing all information with all project members. So there was nothing special, no secret circle or anything else. So anything we shared in the core team, we also shared in the whole team, in the entire team. And yeah, we did not differentiate. We did not differentiate between us and them, EY and Boehringer, or the core team and the extended team, or the German team and the offshore team. So it was just one big team, and that really, we managed to start that right from the beginning with getting personal, and we managed to pull that through to the very, very end. And that is probably one of the biggest factors of success we had in this project. Whatever happened, whenever, well, in projects this size, things happen. Sometimes it gets difficult. There is friction. What did we do? We just pulled together, looked at the common goal we had, and tried to reach that together. One focus. We didn't focus on politics or on proving who's the better or anything like that. All of us, we were working together equally towards the goal which we have designed in the beginning. The key factors we were focusing on was openness, it was honesty, and it was trust. We were trustful to each other. We were telling each other the truth. We had open conversations, and we were also talking about risks openly, which is quite hurtful. But as you know, risks happen, and there's one way: you can either try to ignore them and hope they don't happen, or you can address them early and see how to mitigate them. And this is the way we chose to address risks early, because we have one truth and one focus on our goal. One of the examples which was really a high risk which we had addressed was, you might remember, we had, it's recruiting. And recruiting, you know, is a lot of communication and correspondences with several target groups. And all the customers I ever had a high need in quite a large number of correspondences, and surprise, same as Boehringer.
Same, right?
Same with Boehringer. And we had so many countries with different requirements, business needs, legal requirements, and so on. So the number of correspondences grew unexpectedly high, well, higher than we would have advised. And then we sat together in the project team and said, well, what you wish is not fitting to the workload we can manage as a team. So the resources we have do not match the capacity we have. And as you know, no chance for postponing or descoping. Then we got together as a team. We saw the risk, we talked about the risk, and then together we decided to take that risk. And everyone in the team took on additional workload to achieve it, to make it happen. So we even had local resources from countries far away on the globe jumping in to help to get these correspondences maintained, translated, tested, and so much workload, because we as a team together consciously decided to take that risk to make it happen, because it was important for us as a project team to get that one.
Do you know that that number of correspondence was one of my biggest nightmares for weeks? It was because of
not only yours.
Yeah, because it's the sheer number, and then you take the translations, and then you count it together, you multiply, you re-multiply, because you think that's not the correct response that you get, but it was nearly 1,000.
And we had a big bang,
right?
So we couldn't
huge.
do it staggered, but we had to do it at once, because we had a big bang globally for more than 60 countries.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, but we managed, because we were together, one team, pulling together and making it happen.
Yeah, and maybe you ask yourself why I brought that screenshot with me that you see here, the blue one. That's the share point that we utilized, and it was a share point. This was the first project that I was leading on such a big scale, where I decided 100% open information with each other. Yeah? So, as Eva said before, we didn't only live the one team, one focus, one truth idea. In our minds, we really did it. So every documentation was available, not only for the project's member from Boehringer Ingelheim, but as well for all the project's members on Ernst & Young side. And I think this is something I would like to give to you. If you would like to have motivated participants, may it be a team, may it be within something that you are setting up, maybe you plan a startup, maybe you plan a project. As long as you do not treat people the way you would like to get treated and you would like to get informed and respected, people will feel not equal. And when you're not feeling equal, then you're not giving your fullest to make it a success. Yeah? And this is what I've shown. So the moment you say you share your information openly with each other, this is where everyone felt involved and everyone said, this is my project, and we saw that motivation coming through, and not only with the correspondence topic. We basically moved mountains. So just with the sheer numbers, to give you an idea, I had an amazing test manager with me, and she coordinated not only all the countries.
Also her, by the way.
Yeah, as well, right? Test manager, yeah. And she coordinated more than 100 testers worldwide. And again, absolutely transparent. Everyone could see the outcome of the test. Everyone could see how fast we moved with solutions. And we had a weekly call with the testers where we said, you got hurt, this is where your ticket is, and this is where your status is. And I think the whole testing phase went for more than 2 months. And when we went live from, I think I can remember, we had as well a huge number, more than 500 tickets over all the iterations. And we had exactly 0 open, and I was very proud of that. It was
such a boring go-live day, because nothing happened.
It was too quiet. It was too quiet. No. Yeah, and I think we have to share so much from that project, so really very open for more questions, but as well, we brought our success factors a little bit with us to give you some ideas to talk with us about and to discuss.
Yeah, so just a quick summary, what do we think made us successful in this project? So first of all, it was the communication style. It was very collaborative, and we were aiming at teamwork, sharing responsibility, sharing knowledge, sharing everything, and cooperation, working together. Also, decision making was was an approach which was taking anyone into consideration. So we were seeking and considering everyone's opinion and the feedback, and involve the people. We had quite a relational leadership style that focus, as I said, on the relationships, because it's about people. It's people in the project. It's not resources. It's not roles. It's people. And it's about mentoring. It's about progressing people and having a team-based development. You might remember from my example, also looking at the risk was something that was really a big point in the project, because we had difficult circumstances, we had a timeline which we couldn't change, therefore it was vital to have a very precise risk management. And precise doesn't mean avoiding risk, it means looking at the risk and then seeing what does the risks mean, how can we mitigate them, and then take an educated decision either to avoid it or just to take it. So that was also a very big thing, and I think it was also learning for many of the project members that risks is nothing you need to be afraid of. A risk is something you just need to be aware of. And then you probably have noticed it's about emotions. Huh? We had a lot of emotional intelligence, empathy with the people who were starving, who were hungry in China, for example, who didn't have food, and all the other topics where people had problems. We had not only the projects members to take into consideration, but as you might know, in such a large project, you have a high number of stakeholders, because it is just the last piece of the puzzle into the whole SuccessFactors suite. So there was so many people and so many divisions who were affected. So also taking them into account and integrate them, involve them and make them part of the whole journey was also a very important factor for us. Because that is leading to acceptance. So being involved, being heard, being appreciated makes people makes the buy-in and makes people motivated.
Yeah, and maybe that's a good time to make you feel heard, because I just saw that we're running a little bit out of time.
We have 3 more topics, only 3. I think I can tell them.
Then go ahead.
I'll be quick. So also very important. It's about equality, about hierarchy. So we were not in a very hierarchical team setup. So everyone was equal, everyone was heard, everyone was appreciated, and that kept the people so much motivated. And they were involved at a very early stage. That made them buy in, and that made the people the change agents and spread the word on how great our project and the system is into the whole organization. So this is something which we could not do from the core team ourselves. Yes, and the most important thing is that in stressful times, when there was frictions, when there was difficulties, when there was bottlenecks, when things didn't go as we would like them to go, then we were also looking forward. We were not looking back, we were looking forward to the goal. So we were learning from mistakes, but we never ever were finger pointing. So we were totally focusing on getting it right, getting it running, and getting to the goal together. So always being solution orientated, never finger pointing, and the most important thing is relationships. It's all about relationships, it's all about people.
And now time orientated.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Ready for questions? Please go ahead. Yes.
I'm very interested in the question: how did you manage such a big amount of different languages? You said you translated it, but I cannot imagine if you all meet weekly with 60 different countries. There are 60 different languages. I have no idea how that could ever have worked.
We had representatives for the countries. When we started with the project, we said we would need representatives that are fluent in English as much as possible. As you have seen before, we worked with a lot of graphics, and we gave people the chance to write to us on a Teams SharePoint their questions and their inputs, because we all know that translating when you have time and write it is easier than speaking up right? Specifically in team meetings. And this is how we proceeded. And the translations itself, we started with an agency, pre-translating, and then we gave it a Boehringer Ingelheim flavor. Yeah? So then the colleagues had been so nice to review that and make the last changes. But the whole project work itself was in English. And I personally attended an internal workshop for cultural awarenesses, and I learned, for example, to ask everyone how they would like me to pronounce their names, and that was unbelievably helpful. I can remember that wonderful book from, I think it was Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends. The most important word in your life is your own name, and I started with that.
Thank you. My name is Corinna.
Hi, Corinna.
I've been in the recruiting sector for the last 20 years, and out of my experience, softwares and tools are not the big friends of people in HR, because HR people normally are in there for people. So first of all, congratulations that you have actually focused on people and relationships. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And very impressive, the short amount of time that you were able to actually implement that software. I think it has been in place for the last 9 months plus now, if I calculate correctly.
True.
Can you share your experience, maybe compared to other projects where you put into place the acceptance rate on a daily basis of those people? Because I think there's a difference between kind of you actually deploy something and the deployment has been done perfectly, and then people actually using it and having fun with it and making your work worthwhile.
Having fun with the recruiting system. This is still a challenge for me, but all respect, right? But how do you get a real change within people's mindset is you start at the beginning. And this is what Eva said. If everyone is part of the project from the beginning on, you have a buy-in, an emotional buy-in, and then they're spreading throughout the whole world that, you know what, the new software is not that bad, and I could define fields, and these fields, they are just made for us, right? And Eva helped me tremendously with that. Maybe you can talk about the sessions that we had, the war room sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Where we as well had the buy-in from the colleagues on site with IT and the Center of Expertise and as well PPM.
Yeah, so first of all, as Beate said, the most important key is involving people right from the beginning, making it theirs, not building something and pushing it on them, because that never works. They need to feel it's what I did, what I was involved, what I have formed, what I have built. And we did this, we call it war room. I never liked the word, but anyway.
We liked it. Client pays, client defines.
Yes, fine. You're the client, you're the king, we do whatever. No, we don't do whatever you like. Yeah, we did these sessions in different points of the project where we took the key project members for this task. So it was different people in these different sessions, but we took these persons into one room. So that was not in March 22, but it was like end of 22, beginning of 23, when travel was allowed in a quite restricted way. So it was still a high risk of key resources falling in and being away for weeks. But we took, again, a risk which we looked at carefully, and we took it, and we handed out Corona tests. But anyway, so we took the people into the key project members into one room, and we were discussing things there. And as we had very low hierarchies in the project, we had quick decision making. So the people who were able to make the decisions were directly in the room, and these decisions, these were binding. So they were valid. And then the decisions were taken. It was, some of my consultants were there, and they directly implemented that into the system. It's also quite risky because things can go wrong, but still also a risk we took. And then it was usually 2 days, and then during these 2 days, we could all see the system evolving, and we directly had our proof of concept in the system because we directly could see what we have discussed, what we have defined, what we thought we want to have. We see it in the system, and then we can see, is it how we need it? Or, oh, that is not exactly how I expected that. That also happened, but then we quickly, directly could go back and have a look at that and change it immediately. So that was a big factor for buy-in, for, customer happiness. In this case, not Boehringer as a customer,
happiness.
but your happiness as well.
Happiness.
You're happy when your customer's happy. I am happy when my customers are happy. So,
yeah. I hope you don't think you get that stage back. Do we still have time for one more question? I start to warm. Yeah, because I start to warm up now below these really hot shades.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can take one more. Thank you so much. See. I involved her. I asked her if it's fine. She said she's happy to
consent. She said yes. So
one little question. The software, was it a bought one or was it self-written or something between?
No, it is SAP SuccessFactors, which is one of the biggest HR software suites. And Boehringer already had all of the modules in place except the recruiting one. So now they have a full suite with leveraging the all the benefits that brings. But also that was making it a little bit more tricky because we had so much interfering surroundings which we had to take into consideration.
Yeah, and just one more comment. SuccessFactors is a cloud software. And you as well asked for how do we handle that. Cloud software means you adopt. Yeah. So you already get best practices delivered, and then you have a real change moving into that cloud software, and then you adopt. And I still think it's about all these personals level that we presented today. I hope as well you felt a little bit connected to us. I recognized when I talked about the desserts that my voice, it broke a bit. It was very emotional for me. Did it, right? It broke a bit. And I'm happy to answer more questions. Connect with the both of us on LinkedIn.
Yes,
we're as well happy to have phone calls with you afterwards. If you plan to go for HR cloud software, you have obviously Ernst & Young on your side, but as well you can always reach out to me, and happy to share both views with you, right? A consultant view, but as well an internal view on how to implement. Thank you very much from our sides.
Thank you.
And thank you, Eva. Did you recognize, are we already off micro? Sorry, did you recognize that her color is already Boehringer Ingelheim? So I just recognized while standing on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
Whatever makes the customer happy.
Really.
Our little present for the donation, and thank you so much. It was a great report. Yeah.
Danke.
Gerne.
Bye.